Yours Home and Garden. Welcome to the Yours Home and Garden Show. Come on, everyone. Hello, everyone, and welcome to this special episode of Growing Plants in Pots. So, I have a garden here, but my garden is like too full. The plants are in the ground over there, and then I have a garden that's sitting in pots. And I'll show you what I've done to grow my plants in the pots. Here we go. I used to take the seeds and just put them in a little pot here like this and wait for them to spring up. Many times they didn't spring up. Sometimes they did, like this one here. This is springing up. Here's a few here, one in here. So sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. But what I've learned to do, I kind of cheat a little bit. I know if I throw a lot of them in a big pot, then more than likely something's coming up. So what I usually do now is I put them in a one big pot, many seeds, and after they get a certain height, I take them out and put them in individual pots. So I'm going to take this one out because it's really tall now. Here's another one that's at the height to just come out, and these are peppers, and I'm going to put them in little pots. Okay, so I kind of don't have to buy pots, little pots, because I buy these pots for my flowers around the yard. And because I do that, I just keep them. I don't throw them away, I keep them. I usually buy the discounted flowers because I can always catch them and they'll grow nicely for me. So I put really good soil in there. This is store-bought soil that I put in here. Okay, and to make sure this is nice and clear. We don't want it to be bunched up together like a stone. Okay, and you can also put some water in it. That works too, to get that soil loosened. Let's loosen the soil up, because if you notice here, it's a little hard here, so we want to loosen the soil because we want these trees to grow. We do want them to grow nicely. All right, so they loosen up, and now we're going to put this transfer this plant here, this little pepper plant, in this its own pot. That's the important thing. They grow together like this, and that's fine, but they will not produce for you until you put them in their single pots, because they need their own space to grow, and that's a good thing. So taking this out of this pot is really simple. I just kind of put my knife right to the bottom because I want to make sure I take up every bit of the soil and roots that belong to this plant, and then I'm going to put it in this pot. Okay? We're going to put that a little further down though. Give me a second. So I created a space in here in the pot. See how deep that is for the plant, and then we're going to take it. See, the roots are down there. We want to get all those roots, and I'm going to squeeze it right down in there. Okay, we're going to cover this up just a little bit more. Make sure it's nice and steady. Put a little bit more of the soil around here. Okay, make sure it's going to grow nice and strong, and voila, you have your potted plant. Okay, so I'm putting this here, and this is going to grow just like the other ones. And here's the other one. So from the seed to the little plant, and here are the bigger ones. Here's a potted plant here. It's in this size pot now. And here are the sweet peppers. This is a sweet pepper plant. And here a few more. It's another one here. Here's another one. This is pretty big also. And it's beginning to bear also. The bigger the pot, the bigger the plant grows. So I have these in bigger pots, and they've grown up really well. Okay, and this is going to do the same thing. Okay, now I know this pot size is small, but look at this one. Look at this one here. You see how big that is? Okay, and if I feel it needs more space, I'll upgrade it. Here's another one, and this is the size pot. So you have, let's show these sizes, these pot sizes, so you'll see what we're doing here. Okay, so this is the smallest one here. This is the next one. Same pot, same size pot. Then I have it's one in the bigger pot. These are all sweet peppers, by the way. And then this is the biggest pot I would put a sweet pepper in. That's their sizes right here. Okay. So here are these letters. I was doing an experiment by using little plastic bottles, and I would kind of cut the top off and then plant them, you know. So instead of keeping them in here, I went ahead and I placed a few of these in the ground and in pots. And this is interesting because these came from this size in these plastic bottles, and now I placed my bigger pots. Here they are. Okay, here we go. Here it is. Here's one. This is one. Do you see how big that is? And here's another one. It's also pretty big too. So it's just a matter of getting it in its space, and it'll do really good for you. And I'll show you the ones that I placed in the ground. So here are a few of the letters that I placed in the ground. And honestly, the ones in the pot have done better than the ones I placed in the ground. And I think that's really interesting. So I'm kind of sticking with my pots, and I'm doing a wide variety of plants in the pots now. This is a broccoli, and there's a few more back here. Those two broccolis. So if you're interested in putting plants in the pots, I think it's viable. It's a great idea because mine are growing pretty good, and there are lots of them here. I started with a few, and now I have so many because they're springing up very well. I used to put them in the ground, like over here, and that's another lettuce over there, and some broccoli back there. But I noticed that in the pot they're doing pretty good, so I decided I'll just keep them in the pot and see what happens. And to my surprise, they're growing better in the pot. I think it's all about the shade, because under here this pot doesn't get a lot of sunlight. It gets a little shade. And then number two, they actually have space to grow in their own pot. That whole business about having their own space, I think they like that. And they grow really well. So I'm pleased with the way these are turning out, and I'm expecting to harvest some fruits like sweet peppers in the future. Thank you for joining us. Until next time.